Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you so much, Mehran. I'm so glad you joined in. So I'm just waiting for Saerum to join in. And here we are.
Assalamualaikum.
Bun Sam, Saerum, how are you?
I am good. How are you, Asad?
I'm great. I'm doing great. What's up? How was today?
Today was very good, very productive. Um, आज मेरा आखिरी एग्जाम्स are for my sixth semester. I'm finally done with my junior year in media studies. And apart from that, we had our first day of our international congress from where I work. It was happening on a virtual platform, so that was great. And now I'm here. How about
That's
you?
amazing. That's amazing. All right. So I think we should begin. First of all, just give us an introduction about yourself. Who is Saerum Palekar? What does he do? What's he all about?
All right. So again, my name is Saerum Palekar. I am currently serving as the local committee president for AIESEC in Islamabad. Apart from that, I am studying media from Perrier University in Islamabad. I just, like I said, got done with my junior year. I'll be getting into my final senior year from August, hopefully. Apart from that, if I let you know a little bit about AIESEC, so AIESEC is the world's largest youth-run organization. It is a independent body which is not governed by anybody else but the members of AIESEC, and it is an international, non-governmental, not-for-profit organization which aims at striving for peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. Um, in a nutshell, what we do is we send people on cross-cultural exchange, volunteer opportunities, and work opportunities where they get to develop their leadership potential. They get to experience cross-cultural exchange where they learn cross-cultural values and develop understanding. And apart from that, they develop themselves into great leaders once they come back home. So they resonate that leadership potential with the people that they live. So that is what we do. As students, as the youth over here in Islamabad and Pakistan, we run this operation where we also send people abroad. We send the youth abroad, people between the ages of 18 and 30. And we also bring in people from other countries on our exchange opportunities. Due to the ongoing pandemic situation, our operations are at a halt. But in the meantime, what we're doing is we're focusing on our organizational development and health. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Saerum. So my second question is, how do you keep yourself healthy?
So it keeps changing. I'll be completely honest. It's not, I don't have a fixed regimen that I follow all year long. I think ever since the lockdown, what I have been very strict is with my cardio. I think giving 60 minutes of cardio to myself every day, it gets my blood pumping. It keeps me warmed up. It makes my metabolic rate at something that I can work with. It's not really sluggish. Otherwise, I'm an endomorph, and if I'm not working out, so I start gaining fat really fast. So I stick with my cardio. I got myself a little pupper, a little German Shepherd puppy, earlier last month. Ever since I've had him, I've been really active in the sense that I go out, I get to play with him, we get to exercise, we go on walks. So it just, yeah, keeps me active since I live on the first floor. So I make sure that I'm always moving around and burning calories in one way or the other, eating healthy, not eating a lot of fats, a lot of fried food, a lot of junk food, just sticking with most of the proteins and good carbs. I think just these basics. As soon as the lockdown is over, I'll be going back to the gym. I can't wait for a proper fitness routine. That's what I do to stay healthy.
That's great. And where do you see yourself physically and human health wise? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, physically with my health, All right. So, in an ideal scenario where we say that the COVID situation is done and over with in the next 1 year, I think I see myself at around 120 or 130 pounds with 12 to 13% body fat. I guess that's fair.
That's amazing, and that's like a very good, and inshallah, I truly pray and hope that you will achieve there because you have that level of determination as well. That brings me to my next question, which is what's that one thing you wish you had known before you began your term as president for AIESEC?
That's a very good question. I wish somebody told me how much I'm gonna miss my previous executive board that I worked with. My president Usman and my executive board with Mushtaba, Aisha, Mariam, Sanya, and Haris, all these people, they were brilliant. I had a brilliant time with them. And yeah, if I only knew how much I'm going to miss them, I would have just spent a lot more time with them. Even though we did and we ended the term on a high note together, I just think I would have spent a lot more time with them.
That's amazing.
Chandio,
All right.
Chandio is saying he only has 10% body weight. No, Chandio, you're beautiful.
He's also enjoying the session more than the iShomer session Isaac had. So I'm really grateful and I'm really thank you so much for this. I hope you guys are enjoying this. And you've been getting a lot of hearts recently from people at Isaac though.
Sorry, come again?
I've been seeing a lot of hearts for you, Mr. LCP.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor.
So, Saram, this, brings me to a very serious and important question, which is, what is your biggest failure in life and what did you learn from it?
I think all right. So for the longest time, I think I was of the belief that I don't have any regrets, and that is because I like living that way, staying content with everything. But I think in order to grow, sometimes you really need to reflect on your experiences and be very non-judgmental when you're doing that, and really accept what you did and who you are, and learn from that and grow. So I think around 3 years ago, before joining Isaac, I think 1 year before I joined, I had an accident and like I came face to face with death. And as a result, as a consequence, I happened to lose my faith. And it was a little um let's say like if I can only explain it if I draw an analogy that when I had my faith I felt really grounded and that I had a narrative, but when I lost my faith, when I lost that grounding, um I felt like I was in an oblivion and I had to start from scratch. So that, although one, I think if I look back, so in retrospect, it did one good thing for me, and that was I started looking deeper within myself and all my values and questioning my identity and everything. And that really helped me grow in the sense that I figured out my weaknesses, my strengths, things I loved about myself that I wanted to enhance further, things that I absolutely hated about myself. Um, and change them for the better. But I guess if I hadn't lost my faith back then, all of this would still have been possible. I think losing my faith was just a lot of extra energy that I had to put into something. So this year, I think with the lockdown and Ramadan being, coming, like they were almost running in parallel. So that was a great time for me to get back in touch with my spirit and get back in touch with my faith. I still wouldn't say that I'm a very, very religious person, but I would definitely say that I am spiritual again. Um, yeah.
Beautiful, that's amazing. And I wish you best of luck in that. We
Uh,
all have our journeys, it takes time for every person, single person. It's a different time for everybody, right? My next question is, since you're a media science student, right? media sciences. You're a student of media sciences at Bahria University. What is that one advice would you like to give people who are wanting to pursue a career in media sciences?
I'm sorry, I lost you there for a minute. Could you phrase your question one more time?
Yeah. So since you're a student of media sciences, what is that one advice you would
Yeah.
like to give people who want to pursue that field, pursue the field of media sciences?
I would say start recording. Start recording everything. I think any recorded piece of information is media that you can use at any point in your life. Be it audio tapes, be it small clips, be it photographs. Um, I would say just capture moments and store them somewhere. Then later on, when you work on your creative potential and you figure out a specialization for yourself, that whether you want to go into journalism or television or entertainment, I think all that content that you have, captured and stored over the years is going to come in handy, and you will never run out of a library, a plethora of all this information in terms of audio clips, in terms of videos, in terms of pictures, moments, and you can make something beautiful out of it. So to become a media professional or to get into this field, I don't think you need to be studying it at an institute or getting a qualification from some institute or another. I think you can do it on your own, and this is where it begins. Just small steps like capturing moments.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So now this is a very, very important question. This is a very interesting question, and that is,
Uh,
if you had the time, energy, and money to do anything to keep yourself healthy, what is that one thing that you could do?
Anything, and I had a lot of money.
You had a lot of money, you have a lot of time, and you have a lot of energy as well.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd ask him for his personal trainer's number and get that guy as my personal trainer. Also, his nutritionist because yeah, he did a pretty good job with that. And just any regular membership at the gym would do, man. I think that is good enough. I need somebody to keep me motivated, both at the gym and in the kitchen.
That's great. That's great. So you want to build a body as Chris Hemsworth, right?
I mean, it's a far stretch, but yeah, everybody wants to, aim for the stars. That's what I do.
And if let's say you were given a role in the movies as well in Hollywood, would you take it?
No, I don't think so. I tried acting back in 2017 in theater. It takes a lot of energy and it's just not my thing. I think just working with people at AIESEC and, just corporate and also art like music that keeps me going. I don't think I would be good at acting.
And that makes me think that you love music, right? You're into music a
Yeah.
lot. Talk to
Yeah.
us, through that. What's it all about? Where do you see yourself with music and everything?
So I like to take music as a passion and as a hobby. I think if I look back at my life, music has been something that has always stuck with me ever since I've been a kid. I was never into dancing or movies that much or drama, but more like music, artistically and creatively. I was always, you could say, turned on by music. And so I got my first guitar when I was, I think, in seventh grade, and so I think it's been about, I don't know, 9, 10 years now. After that, I think about 3 years ago, I really started getting into electronic music, and I got myself a DJ controller. And then I think after a year of beat bedroom DJing, I started getting shows. I played at a few shows in 2018. But in 2018, I also happened to be actually no. After that, in 2018, I also happened to join Isaac, and that part of my journey began. And then in 2019, I became the vice president for the regional sales. Um, and so my music and my passion for music is that sort of took a backseat. But I think ever since I got elected as a president, and my job description is no longer functional, rather it's related with governance and all. I've had a lot more time to focus on my passion projects, and I'm working on it. So you can look forward to my release for another mixtape. It's going to be a little small mixtape, I think. So I released two mixtapes. They were about 60 minutes long back in 2018. They received a lot of good reviews, but I also feel like people were just putting me on the pedestal because they were being nice. And actually, in reality, those mixtapes were super long and boring. So now I'm thinking of releasing only tracks and having emotions in that and communicating with people through music and sharing my ideas and how I perceive the world through my audio.
That's beautiful. Saidam, we have a question from Amir Osama. He asks, do you plan on getting a keyboard anytime soon?
Yeah, I do, Amir. If you have any suggestions on any good cheap deals, I would love to get a MIDI keyboard for myself. Thank you, Shanu. You too, bro.
All right.
Me
So the
too.
next question is, what are the three people in your life that have been the most influential to you about every single thing?
So that's all right. So I think first and foremost, my father. My relationship with him has been like any father-son relationship, with all its ups and downs, but mostly ups. And I've learned a lot from him. I think most of the values that I have and you guys see at work as well, and in my personal life, I get it from my father. My second most influential person would be my mother. Again, I spend, like, you can see that if I'm going to school and if I'm going to work, so I'm only spending half my day outside the house, right? Rest of the half of my day I'm spending at home with my family. So it would be safe to say that I've spent half my life on this earth with my family, for the most part, at least. And so they've had a great influence on me, and yeah, I really thank them for that. And then third, I think a lot of people might hate me for this, but I would say G-Eazy. I really, I was going through this low sort of stage. Every teenager goes through that stage when they're like 15, 16. I had my stage, that sort of stage too. And that is when I heard G-Eazy's first album, which was Must Be Nice, and I was like hooked. I was like, God damn, man, like these emotions that I feel, I'm not the only one on earth going through these emotions. People other than myself have been here and they have made something beautiful out of their lives. So G-Eazy was my like entry to the world of rap, and ever since then I've been super hooked on rap. I didn't like lyrical music. I was mostly into electronic beats and just rhythms, but I think rap has been a real source of both wisdom and some pumping emotions for me, and it all goes to Jeezy for that. So these three people for you.
Nice. Like for if I remember my time, I had that teenager time too. और उस time पे I used to play that दूरियां और बीते लम्हे और उसके I cried after that or that was a cycle like keep on repeating again and again. But it was a time and every teenager goes to it, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So Mehran, Kashif asked, do you plan on starting your own YouTube channel for music?
Hopefully, once I'm done with my AIESEC career, I'm completely going to be focused on my music and my online social media presence with regards to my music channel and my projects. So, but after AIESEC, right now I'm just focused with my work.
All right. So coming back towards health, what do you think about health and wellness in today's society?
Well, it depends. If I look at it objectively, I feel like there's always room for improvement, right? You can always do better. But if I'm looking at it relatively, I would say we're doing a lot better than we were, let's say, last year or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And there is a lot more awareness. Both, I think, in good educational institutions as well, and then good workplaces as well, like AIESEC and other good multinational firms where they really value their human capital. So I think people have really started to understand the potential of good mental well-being, and they're starting to invest in that. And I'm really optimistic about the future as well.
All right, perfect. So now here's another interesting question. So if you could step into my shoes right now, if you could be the person who's having this show, what is that one thing you would like to ask yourself that I didn't?
Hmm. Yeah, I would, if I don't know, like what you would think or how you would go about it, but if I were you, I would definitely ask me what I think is the purpose of life. So go ahead, ask me that question.
So Sarum, what is the purpose of life? This is a very interesting question, and I've been dreaming about this question to ask you for ages.
It is a very interesting question. I think the answer to this question is extremely subjective. It varies from person to person, but from whatever I've learned, from my time here on this planet Earth and with these people that I've been with, I think your purpose of life is whatever you want it to be. And my purpose of life is whatever I want it to be. And it goes the same for everyone else as well. But it really has to be a very, very conscious choice, a conscious decision that you make. You really need to put some thought into it. Some people they're very lucky and I'd say privileged enough to find their purpose of life at a very young age and start working towards it. Some people get that done by the time they reach their 40s. Some people they never get that luxury or privilege in their lifetimes at all. But I think the sooner we learn, the better. So just go out, explore the world, explore yourselves, and then see what you really want and who you really want to be, what you really want in this life. That's it.
Beautiful, Sarum. Thank you so much for sharing that. So another important question is, how can people listening to you right now achieve happiness in their life?
Yeah, acha, such a lovely question. Asad, thank you so much for asking me these questions. I am really grateful for you. I like to talk about these things and my thoughts on it. I think first, tell me, what do you think? How can people achieve happiness?
No worries, it's
What's your
about you. I'm going to ask you. उसके बाद I'm going to share the responses. Don't worry.
chalo, fit hai.
Like my whole timeline is filled with happiness, right? For me, okay, so basically, I think happiness is internal, right? So it's not something external. You cannot find happiness by having a dream job or having a Maserati or having just having time to sleep or whatever it is, whatever it might be that you're thinking you want in your life. Happiness doesn't come from those things, right? It doesn't come from having a lot of friends. It doesn't come from having in you being famous, you being rich. I don't think it comes from that. I think it's always internal. You can be happy whenever you want to at any instant in time. And the fastest way that I've seen for myself to be happy is by being grateful, by counting your blessings. So, whenever I'm distressed, whenever I'm depressed, because everybody goes through these things, right? We are all emotional beings and we all, experience these emotions. So whenever I'm going through a down time, I think about, I start counting my blessings. And that's when it pops up. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much that I'm still alive. I have my parents. I have this house that I can live in. I have so many friends. I am in AIESEC. I am doing so much. I'm about to graduate. I'm finally becoming a doctor. And oh my God. And then it just starts up. And then, one by one. And then I'm super happy and I'm back again. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me, 100%. Just counting your blessings, being grateful is I think the best way to be happy. And sometimes I know, a lot of people are gonna be like, it's easier said than done. You can't always be happy like that. And to those people, I would say, go out and start helping others. When you start helping others and you see with them with their problems, I feel like the people that we interact with, the circle that we usually have, it's usually has this constant theme, which is a middle class or a higher middle class background with fair enough economical standing within the society. However, there's a lot of the world out there, they don't have those riches and they're really struggling to just get by with the basic living necessities in life, right? So just go out there and start helping people. And I feel like it'll, if nothing else, so that would really remind you of your blessings and make you feel grateful for what you have.
Thank you. That was absolutely beautiful, Sarum. We have another question from Shahanu, and he asks, Sarum, what is your fitness secret?
My fitness secret? Yeah, I think so growing up, I was super fat. I think at max I reached 106 kgs when I was around 15 years old, 15, 16. It means abhi bhi padi हुई है. It was like 40 inches of waist or some shit. So I got
That is
really fat.
huge.
It was really hard for me growing up, man. It was a terrible nightmare. But I think with that, I started with my workout routine, right? And I was super strict with my workout routine, 6 days a week. I was also sticking with my balanced diet regimens. So during that time, I really learned um, the power of balanced eating and then your balanced activity. So it's very simple. It's a simple equation for me: calories in and calories out. I try to control that, and beyond that, I try to make sure the sources of those calories that I take, those are like good sources. So rather than taking 100 calories from, let's say, a packet of wafers or biscuit, I would rather take like 100 calories with, let's say, chicken, boiled chicken or grilled chicken, something like that. So just like manipulating your food eating habits and making sure that you're burning more when you eat is, yeah, that keeps me going. Very simple, no rocket science.
So, so this is a very, very, very important, topic to discuss. Like, there's lots of people, and I hear, I get a lot of DMs when, people want to talk about, how to lose weight and all of that. You were at a point you were at 106 kgs, as you mentioned, like that is huge. And so,
Yeah.
just talk us more explicitly about, how you did your dieting, how you did your exercises. What is that you did? That you came from that to this Sarum that we see today, who's lean, who's muscular, and who's just sexy, right? So tell us about more about this. How can people right now achieve, that all this, transformation?
So I remember I was 15 when I went to the gym, and I went to the gym in September, and मेरी birthday आ रही थी in December. तो मैंने अपने trainer को बोला कि I think I have a picture. I can show you a picture of what I look like. So I went to my trainer and I was like, yeah, December में मेरा एक competition आ रहा है and I want to have six pack abs by then. And he said कि हाँ हो जाएगा, no issues at all. So in case you guys want to see, this is what I look like. Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
this is huge.
So I was like,
But
yeah,
you
I
look
want to.
beautiful. You look cute. You look more cute.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind of you. So I went to my trainer and I was like, I want six pack abs by December. He said कि हो जाएगा. अब December आ गया लेकिन six pack abs नहीं आए. Um, and then I was like, चलो ठीक है, next December तक I'll try again and I'll do it. Um, लेकिन I kept working out. लेकिन अगले December तक भी कुछ नहीं हुआ. Then I was like, maybe next December. So it was always like aiming for another December, another year, and in the process, I wouldn't achieve the targets that I dreamed for. Obviously, that isn't how it goes. But I actually started learning how things actually work. And so a few like takeaways from my, I think, learnings would be that more weight training always helps because as you are building muscle throughout the day, you're burning a lot more calories than you would be, as compared to whether, when you're just doing cardio in comparison to, having weight training as well. And then eating habits, just eating from healthy sources of calories and burning more than you consume. I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Sagar, for this. I feel like if you guys have any questions about this, please do keep asking them. I have another question, and that is, since we are in this lockdown, this whole pandemic situation happened. We're all quarantined at home, or at least I expect all of everyone to be quarantined at home. So,
Me
what
too.
do you think? How can, we work upon our, physical health? How can we, stop eating too many calories and stop even, burning calories at the same time? How can we, really balance that equation?
I think it's super easy during the lockdown. As far as eating is concerned, you can Google your favorite recipes, calorie recipes. If you cook yourself, so I think that's best. रोजाना का अपने लिए meal बना दिया करें. But if you have somebody else at home who cooks for you, that's even better. You just tell them how to cook that meal for you. And maybe you can also come up with a meal plan for, let's say, you have a separate meal every day and they're all healthy. So I think eating can be controlled that way. And for staying physically active, I think so. I have a 32-inch flat screen in my room, and what I do is every day in the evening or whenever I get the time and I'm feeling like breaking a sweat, I go on YouTube and I put on any 30-minute fitness routine, a random one every day. And so it's a new thing every day. Sometimes it's a really fast-paced, core break the sweat sort of workout. Sometimes it's just a wacky, fun thing that I do. But I never regret it because every day is a new day and it's something exciting. Sometimes it's lame, but I still go whether it's fun nonetheless. So you can always do that. Just go on YouTube, search for 20 to 30-minute workout routines, and just follow them on the screen. Very easy.
All right, all right. So let's. There was another question. Let me see. So Mehran asked, what advice, how would you, what advice would you give to a person who is, fat from birth to deal with body shaming and as well as, his mental health issues as well, how does someone deal with that?
I think a lot of people, again, the answer to that question is always going to be subjective. People always answer from their own experiences, and so I will always like I can only answer from my experience from having gone through that stage where I was super fat and I was bullied and I didn't have any girlfriends. But I think you really need to sit down and question yourself, like if something someone said or something you heard someone say or something that offends you, a post or something about the way you look, you really need to question yourself, why does it bother you? Why do you feel bothered by that? Let's say, for example, if somebody says that you're fat and I don't like the way you look, or you're chubby or whatever, um you need to ask yourself, why do you need to please that other person? Why do you want them to feel that you look good? Why do you want their validation for the way you feel about yourself? So I think it's a very hard journey. I think words are always just, pieces of advice and tools that you can use. But the journey is always very, very hard. My heart goes out to everybody who goes through fat shaming and all sorts of body shaming. And yeah, I would ask them to stay strong and then again keep asking themselves why they need social validation or validation from external sources for their internal peace. they need internal validation. They themselves need to be content with what they're doing. If they themselves are okay with the way that they look, then perfect. But if they themselves are not happy with the way that they look and they want to improve on that, yet they don't do that, then I think they really need to pull up their socks and start putting in that effort if they themselves are not okay with it. But I guess as long as you yourself don't have any problems with the way you look or the way you feel, then oh man, to each their own, live and let live.
So damn true, Simon. And like personally, I believe for every single person out there, like it's not about for people who are fat, who go through bullying or fat shaming, etc. Especially those people, but for every single body, I think you don't need to give a shit about other people's opinions anymore. Like that's it. Like that's just simple. You keep hearing shit, right? Positivity and negativity, but you let only the positivity in and let go of the negativity out. It's as
Absolutely.
simple. And some people are gonna be like, oh, it's easy to say, it's hard to do. But then again, you need to ask yourself, why do you need social validation? Why do you need other people to tell you that your life isn't good, that you should be that way or this way, you should do this or that? You know, I believe in just not giving a shit about other people's opinion. And what does that do? It leads you to happiness. It gives you that freedom and liberation. And the moment you start acting on this, the moment you start to stop giving a shit, you become so this gets quiet. Like, you get so much peace of mind like you have no idea. And this is what happened with me, right? I wanted to start my own YouTube channel, and I while I was starting it, I had a lot of concerns, queries, and worries and doubts in my mind. I was like, मेरे school, university वाले क्या दोस्त क्या कहेंगे, मेरे relatives क्या कहेंगे, खानदान वाले क्या सोचेंगे, oh my god, look at him, मतलब, he doesn't even have a gear, he doesn't even have a DSLR, and he's, filming with his mobile phone, and, look at the kind of editing he does, and, all that sort of, एक वो dark cloud आ जाता है, whenever, you're about to start something. And that was very interesting for me. And I asked myself, why do I need that social validation? Like, if my only aim is to help people through my own, through my sources, through my life, by filming my life, by providing real value to people out there through Instagram, social media, Twitter, whatever it might be. If my aim is helping people and providing value, what does it matter if what people think, if what my relatives think or my friends think? And once I adopted that, level and that thinking, I was absolutely off to the races. Like I was sort of in the, I started this rocket and then I just went. And that is, 2 years ago. And the kind of happiness I have in my life, the kind of things that I do every single day, and how I'm able to start things, how I'm having the courage to start things and take initiative. It's just mind boggling, like how I did it. But it starts only with that one question. You have to ask yourself, why do you need social validation?
Yeah, kudos to you, Asad Sultan, for making through and coming through with that. Truly, it is a very liberating feeling to just let go and be yourself, accept yourself.
Joe Martin. Simon, now I have a very, very important question because this is something that I personally feel is not talked about a lot in the society. I feel like mental health is not given the due attention it needs. It we see posters, we see sugar-coated stuff, we see all these quotes out there, but nobody really talks about it. Nobody, you just scroll down the social media, you see, oh my God, so the popular pages are talking about mental health. But we don't get to talk about this with our social circle. We don't get to talk about this with our parents, with our teachers, with our friends out there, who really shape our lives in this process. So there are lots of stigmas, concerning mental health in our society, and nobody talks about it enough. What's your take on this?
I think you're absolutely right. Again, if I'm looking at it objectively, if I'm judging the situation, then I would say it's terrible. And Aisha saying she loves where the conversation is going. Yeah, we love you too, Aisha. We really miss you. So basically, alright, I think I lost my train of thought. But coming back, I think popular culture जो होता है ना, it really plays a very very important role in how a society is shaped. And I think being a student of media myself, I think our media it it can play a huge role in the way we think about mental health and mental well-being. Um, अभी अगर आप अपना कंटेंट देखो on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram, our Pakistani content producers, they're either streaming, on games or they're talking about something. अभी तो मैं देख रहा था कि Unbox Therapy जैसे भी channels YouTube पे start हो गए, and they're very very good. Like they're recording their videos in like 4K, man. Like I don't have a 4K camera, but they're doing it in Pakistan. So all these people, they have a lot of reach out in the public, and I think अभी जो current state है इसके अंदर objectively अगर हम देखें तो while yes we can still improve and we should improve, um, relatively जो मैं पहले भी कह रहा था and then I lost my train of thought, we are much more, we're doing a lot more better than we were, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago. उस टाइम पे तो rarely anybody I was friends with talked about, neurons in your body, in your brain, and how they control your mood, and how some people are really depressed or उनकी biology के साथ problem होता है and they need medication to fix those chemical imbalances and cure their mental ailments and all. But I think, relatively speaking, now a lot of us, we know about these things. We know that if you need help, though, you need to speak with a psychologist for therapy, or maybe get CBT. CBT तो अब online भी हो जाती है. Cognitive behavioral therapy. You can do it yourself at home and fix your mental health. So I would say I am optimistic. Things are a lot better than they were before. But are they at their best? Absolutely not. We still have a very, very long way to go. And like being a student of media myself, I think media can play a huge role. हम अगर अपने movies के अंदर, अपने TV dramas के अंदर, अपने YouTube की videos के अंदर we start talking about mental health, या छोटे छोटे strips के अंदर इन इस element को भी add कर दें कि people are, actors and all in their scripts, in their content, are going to psychologists for their therapy, and they're actually working on their mental health, and their relatives and people at their home, their family and their friends are supportive of it. So I think that would really shape our society into valuing the potential of good mental well-being. That's my take on it.
Beautiful, Saram. I hope people learned a lot from you. Now, here's my final question. If anybody else doesn't have any questions, what is that one thing that you would want to leave the audience with today?
I think if any one of you is stuck at home with anything in life, whatever it is, whether it be a problem in your social relationships or in your romantic relationships or your professional relationships, or problems with anything material, whatever problem there is in your life and you're struggling through it for however long, I just want you guys to know that the potential of the human mind is unlimited. You are really capable of doing anything and everything, and just have that faith. If you've lost that faith, just know that there is hope and you can get that faith back. People fall down every day. I think ये Rocky का quote है, but it's not about how many times or how hard you fall, but it's about how many times you get back up, because you can always get back up and come through stronger. So yeah, in a nutshell, whatever you're going through, know that it's temporary, and with time things change. You will do better. And if you're doing good, pehle se to you will still do better. You will always get better. So just have that hope in yourself, faith in yourself.
Thank you so much, Saram. I am grateful and honored to have you on board today. I feel like this conversation went through a lot of good things and it brought real value to people. I truly, truly hope that. Thank you so much for taking our time today. I absolutely love our conversations whenever they happen. I'm just very grateful to have you in my life as well. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Asa. Thank you so, so much for having me on your first show. I think the honor is mine, the pleasure is all mine. I really loved being here, and I really miss our physical interactions. Lockdown की वजह से I really, really miss you. So I just hope कि चीजें they get better very very soon so that we can get back to our normal lives and we can get to hug each other and laugh together and have good times, spend good times together.
We will, inshallah, we will. Our
Thank you
love
so
knows no
much.
bounds, and we're gonna do this. I also want to take a time to thank all of the people, all of the audiences that have been there. They've been sending you hearts. Mehran, thank you so much. Shanu, all of you guys who were asking questions. Amir, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys liked it. And with that, I would like to wrap it up. So this was the first ever show episode of the health show. And this is the whole take on this. I want to create this show to provide real value to you people. So, we talk about the things that are not talked about, the things that really matter. Happiness, mental health, physical health, diet, all of these sort of issues. I really want to talk about this and I want to bring value to people. I want to raise awareness about these issues. And that is essentially why I've started this show. Once again, to wrap it up, thank you so much, Iram. And this is a virtual,
Yeah,
response.
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I would just like to add, yeah, I think this show is a super, super brilliant initiative. For everything who is watching right now, I think please like, comment, share karo iske page ko. And yeah, just spread it through your mates and make sure it reaches to a lot of other people as well.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. I
you.
love you, Iram.
I love you
Allah
too,
Hafiz.
Asad. Take care. Bye bye.